How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and this is my Logan Movie review. So if you guys want to see my overall impressions of the Logan Movie, make sure you stay tuned. So this was one of the movies this year that I was actually really excited to see. It is basically the last Hugh Jackman as Wolverine movie, and we've seen Hugh Jackman as Wolverine basically like for 17 years. It's been a really, really long time for Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, and it is just a great send-off to the movie. It's spectacular. It really is. And I'll get into all of my thoughts on the movie, what I liked, what I didn't like. Basically, how this is going to be structured is my positives, negatives, and then the last thing is overall thoughts. And yes, at the end of this, I will tell you guys when I go into spoiler territory, and I will get into spoilers, but for the first half of this review, I'll make sure it is non-spoiler for all of those who have not seen the movie yet. So, let's get into it. So, I will go into my positives now. I'll tell you right now, the character development and the relationships between the three main characters, and this is not a spoiler, between X-23, Wolverine, and Professor X, are just phenomenal. They are amazing. Between all three of them, it's like you get the comedic elements of it. You get a father figure from Professor X to Wolverine, and then Wolverine to X-23, and then like Professor X is like the grandfather to X-23. And all three of them just bounce off each other. They do a great job of really just developing those characters together throughout the entire movie. And it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like anything's out of place. It's really just organic storytelling, and it's amazing to watch. It really is, guys. It's spectacular at its best. And if I really had to rate this movie compared to all the other X-Men movies, I just watched Days of Future Past today, and I have to tell you right now, Days of Future Past and Logan are on the same level. And I really, really like Days of Future Past. I thought that was a spectacular movie. And all the other X-Men movies, obviously, like some of them aren't that great. Some of them are okay. Some of them are good. They all vary, but this one is definitely on top of the list. Spectacular movie, and it's like it's a great send-off for the character. The tone throughout the entire movie was very clear. You get it from I think it was the second trailer where they had that old Western country music playing. And it was just, that's it. That's the movie, guys. It's the tone of the movie. It's very dark. It's gritty, but it does have some lighter tone moments. There's a little bit of comedic tone to it. It can be pretty funny at times, but definitely more a down to earth, gritty story. And I'll just come out and say it's a Western movie. It really is. It's like an old Western, but more up to date, obviously. And just a lot more action in it, and it's a superhero. It's a superhero Western that just takes place in this it's not really a post-apocalyptic world, it's more like a non-mutant world. There's like no more mutants, and most of it takes place in this isn't a spoiler, it's in all the trailers, most of it takes place in like the desert. And that's what gives it that feel, it really does. The just coloring of the movie, along with the desert and how the characters look, they're all worn out. Especially Logan, you do get a sense that he is worn out in this movie. He's tired, and he just doesn't have much left in him. And it's really, really well done. And if you just watch the trailers and you watch the movie, it's the same thing. It's not like they're trying to trick you in thinking that it's going to be a dark movie, and then it turns out to be a really lighthearted movie. It has parts of that, a little bit. It's very, very minor. But overall, it is a gritty, gory, just dark movie. And the gory part is not bad. That's actually a good part, which leads me into my next positive. That is the action. This is the Wolverine movie, the action in a Wolverine movie we have been waiting for. Wolverine, for his powers, he has a healing factor, but also he has adamantium claws. And for those who don't read the comic books, adamantium is basically the strongest metal. Nothing can break it. I mean, like Captain America's shield's like vibranium, but those are they're both indestructible. They hit off each other. They don't really break each other. But adamantium's just up there. It's like it's the strongest metal in the world. And it's not a spoiler saying that it's X-23 is the little girl. That's been shown in the trailers, guys. So that is not a spoiler. But when X-23 and Logan go crazy on everybody, holy shit. It's ridiculous. It's the Deadpool gore. It's like Deadpool paved the way for Fox's rated R X-Men movies. It really did. And now Wolverine gets his own. And I tell you right now, the action is to die for in this movie. It is so amazing. It really is really, really well done. And there is one part in the movie where you do see Wolverine really go all out. And God, does it pay off. It is amazing. It's exactly what I wanted from Wolverine since the first X-Men movie. And you get a little glimpse of that in X2, X-Men United, when the Strikers guys are coming in and they're trying to take all the kids from the X-Mansion. But man, does it really gets you in there, and it's even better than that scene. It's like that scene, but rated R. The little girl, I forget her name, but that plays Laura. Wow. She did a phenomenal job. Most of the movies, this is a spoiler once again, she doesn't talk a lot in the movie. And man, you can just tell what she's feeling, like all her emotions just really come out, and just her performance, just like her, like if she's angry, you can tell she's angry. If she's saddened or if she's happy, you can just tell by her facial, her face and all her facial features, like everything. It's really, really well done. And I'll tell you right now, Professor X and Logan, man, I love that relationship between both of them. And they play off each other so well. Patrick Stewart, like, there's a lot of swearing in the movie, but it doesn't get overboard. You know, like some movies get a little overboard, but this one does not get overboard as well at all. It really feels natural to the story, which is kind of weird because Professor X has always been like this guy that's like really laid back, and he's just like, he's very mature, and he's not swearing. He's running a school. He's running a school for all these mutants, and he's just like, I'm not gonna swear at all. I gotta be professional, all that kind of stuff. But man, it's like he's swearing off his head. He really is. He's swearing a bunch, and not bad. It's really not bad. It's everyone swearing and just feels natural. Now, as I get into the negatives of the movie, there's a lot of positives. There is one negative to this movie, in my opinion, and it is not even that bad. It's not bad. It really isn't. It's something it's like a nitpick. They didn't even need to do this, but I just kind of was like, okay, what's the negative of this movie? I gotta pick something. I can't have no negatives. But then I'm like, well, what if it's just a fantastic movie? And I was like, well, there is one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit, but it's a nitpick, but I might as well throw it in there. So the nitpick is basically the villains of the movie. Their motives aren't really explained. Why are they doing this to mutants? And I don't want to tell you guys too much about it, but you don't really get a sense of why they are doing this why they are doing the things that they do. I will just say that because I don't want to spoil it. And yes, it has something to do with mutants. I mean, goddamn, of course it has something to do with mutants. It's not a spoiler. It's just, obviously, I could have told you that from the trailer. But yes, they're actually after X-23. Yes, they're doing all this, but it's like, you'll see when in the movie in the first place, or if you guys have seen it, it's like, just like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this to mutants? Why are they going about it like this? And that's really all I have for negatives. That's really it. And I'll tell you guys right now, God, I feel like I haven't even gotten really to gush about this movie because it's just so good, guys. You just have to see this movie. If you have not seen Logan yet, go see Logan. My God, it is so good. It's so good. I don't know how another superhero movie is going to top it, honestly. And we have Thor Ragnarok coming out. We have Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Wonder Woman, Justice League. There's a crap ton of superhero movies, and I don't know if they can top it. I really don't. This movie is just overall, everything's perfect. Except for that one little negative, but that is such a nitpick, it doesn't even matter. You don't care because you don't need to know in the movie. You just don't need to know. It honestly is amazing. And if any other movie is better than this, that movie's flawless. Honestly, the movie's flawless then. But I have a hard time believing that any movie, any superhero movie that is, any superhero movie is going to be better than Logan. It's really tough to. Just saw the Lego Movie. I have my review up if you want to check that out too. If you guys have seen that as well, and you want to count that as a superhero movie, which is totally fine. It's called Lego Batman, but Logan is way higher than Lego Batman. And Lego Batman was awesome. It was awesome. But there were some nitpicks and like things I had about that one that I didn't really like either. But that one was really good. And this one is far superior to that movie. It just is. Alrighty guys, now we're going to go into spoiler talk. Thank God. I got to gush about this movie. Because there's so much that happened that I really want to talk about. So now, it's more like I'm just going to be talking about all the spoilers that happened in this movie. I'm not going to be going positive, negatives. You guys have seen that before, like the last couple minutes. So I'm just going to basically rant and go on, not really rant, but just go on about how much I love this movie and all the cool things that happen. So when you're starting out in this movie, Logan is just a cab driver, like not even, he's like a limo driver, and he's like basically he's hating his life. He wants to commit suicide. He's got the adamantium bullet, and so right when you get in this movie, you literally see that Logan is somebody that he's in a dark place right now. He wants to commit suicide. He has an adamantium bullet to do it, and basically his healing factor isn't working that well anymore. So you can definitely tell if he takes an adamantium bullet to the head, he will die from this one. He's not going to be able to heal. His body won't be able to heal from it. He will actually die. And the way he plays with Stephen Merchant, Caliban, which Caliban was actually in X-Men Apocalypse, but he played a very small role in that. And in Logan, he plays a much bigger role. And God, they did a great job with that character. And honestly, I don't even remember that character from the comic books. I've read a lot of X-Men comic books, and I didn't even hear about it. Caliban was pretty cool in this story. Definitely really unique mutant, and basically when he gets captured by the Reavers, and the Reavers are not like what they were supposed to be in the comic books. The Reavers are just kind of guys, they have like the metal arms and stuff like that, but Reavers, there are a lot of Reavers that are big names in the comic books. I won't go into that. You guys can go search that on your own, Reavers and comic books and all that, but other than that, they're really cool in this movie. And they're definitely a really threatening force without really being that threatening. They honestly are just amazing. Like, I mean, they captured Caliban. Caliban's in the back of the truck. If you guys remember that scene when they're in the farmhouse. And God, he makes like the ultimate sacrifice to save Wolverine and Professor X and X-23, even though I didn't really know X-23, mostly doing it for Professor X and Wolverine. But he dies, which is really upsetting. And then Professor X, when he died, that was really tough to watch. Really, really tough to watch, honestly. And I didn't think I was going to be, like, upset at that. But, man, I was upset when that happened. That was just, goddamn, that was really tough to watch. I did not like that. I didn't like that at all. That was really hard to watch. But then, even Wolverine's death, the death of Wolverine, God, that hit you even harder. What the hell? I didn't think it could get that. I was like, I honestly, going into the movie, I was really questioning, are they going to kill Wolverine or are they going to keep it going? I heard that maybe he would be in Deadpool 2 and all that, and I'm like, okay, they're not going to kill him. They killed him. They killed him. They killed Wolverine. It's like, oh, God damn. And then when X-23 is just like, when she says, like, daddy, and that's his daughter. That's his daughter. And they just did this whole road trip, even though it wasn't that long, but it felt like a long time for them. And it's like, he really just tells her exactly what he kind of wanted to do. It's like, don't be what they made you. It's like, and basically it's like, don't be a weapon. Don't be what they want you to be. Be your own person. Which I honestly thought was, like, out of anything that he could have said in that moment, that is the best thing he could have said. That didn't come off as cheesy. Acting really was good in that moment. Even from the little girl who played X-23, phenomenal acting by her. And I don't think she's been in any movies. I think this is her debut. She was awesome. She just was awesome. When she took out the Foot Claw, she's kicking ass, she's stabbing people in it. Oh my god, thank God. I remember the first time I ever heard of X-23 was when I got these, if you guys have ever gotten one of these, they're little Marvel Legends toys. They came in these big boxes. They had a comic book that came with it. My parents bought it for me, brought it back home, unboxed it, and literally, like, she had a foot claw, and I'm like, oh my god, that's sweet. That's even better than Wolverine. Wolverine doesn't even have feet claws. That could come in handy. Yeah, it comes in handy in this movie because she's chopping off limbs with that. It's like, you think when they have her by the hands, you're like, oh, she's done. She's going to get captured now. Nope, here comes the foot claw. She's kicking ass. She was a badass in this movie. She's flipping guys over. When Wolverine does the when he like gets all the like the medicine pumped into him, he's running around cutting guys up, and then them just like come together and they're doing like a duo. Oh my god, that was such great Wolverine action. That's everything I've wanted to see in a Wolverine movie. It really is. And if you guys have seen, obviously if you're watching this right now, I hope you've seen the movie, or I'm just spoiling a bunch of shit for you. But man, it was so good. And now the overarching villain, not the other villain, I forget his name. He was kind of a forgettable character, but then I still liked him at the same time, so I don't know if that really works out. But like, he was really good in the role, even though he didn't really have anything to do. But I will tell you right now, his arm, I thought was probably one of the best CGI works, because it's CGI, it has to be, but man, it looks so good. It looked phenomenal. I literally was like, is that a real hand? And it was like going backwards, like his fingers are going backwards, and he like put it on. It looked real to me. And that's like the first time I've ever been like, you know, when you're watching a movie and a bunch of CGI, you're just like, yeah, that's obviously CGI, whatever. It looks kind of real, but it's CGI. This one looks real. This is the first time I've ever been in the movie, and I was like, wow, that looks like it actually exists. Like, he's not just playing it off, that's his hand. And I was just blown away by that. But getting back into it, that villain, he was just kind of like, you know, he easily dies by the kid mutants. They fuck him up. I don't even know what they do. They have the grass going on him. One has the frost breath going at him. Another one's like shooting him with electricity. He just gets fucked every which way from every mutant, in which he deserves, because he tortured all of those kids for so long. And then the doctor at the end. God damn. I really liked how they set that up, where he's Colonel Stryker, who put the adamantium in Wolverine in the first place. That's his son. I was like, wow, that's actually really, really good. I really like how they did that. And he basically said he was responsible for killing all the mutants. But I thought he was really good. For the few moments he was in, definitely felt like he was an overarching villain. He was the guy running the whole show. You definitely felt like that. But another part was when they definitely hinted Professor X killing the X-Men in like his seizure, in the seizure scenes, which were really good, and Wolverine stabbing people, so cool. But they definitely hint at that. Professor X killing everybody in the seizures. And obviously the first time they don't know what to do, so they basically have to let it pass. And he suffocates all of them except for like Wolverine because of his healing factor. And yeah, that's what they hint at. And honestly, I can see why now. It makes it more realistic that Professor X is at a low point and he's swearing a bunch. He doesn't care anymore because he killed all the kids that he brought into his school and trying to teach them, trying to make them have a better life than what society wants them to have. And he killed them all. That definitely brought in a little bit more of an emotional side to that character, and you definitely get why Patrick Stewart at the beginning of the movie is more like mentally unstable and all that. And you can see why Logan's just pushing him, take the drugs. You can't do this out in public. We've seen what happened before. And definitely makes it a little more emotional. I didn't want to say this in my spoiler-free thing, but I didn't know how I felt about the cloning of Wolverine exactly. Like X-24. When it's like younger Wolverine. I thought it was kind of cool seeing like younger Wolverine fight an old Wolverine, but I was like, I felt like they should just come up with something else, because honestly, they kind of did that with X-Men Origins Wolverine with Deadpool, even though they fucked that over. And it was kind of Wolverine, like he could heal and he could, I don't know, I wasn't too keen on it, but at the same time, I didn't care because I was just watching the movie and I was watching mindless action and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. We're seeing Wolverine cut people's heads off and all that. And I thought he was really easily killable, which I know he like killed everybody and he fucked everybody over. but at the same time, it's Wolverine. Doesn't he have an adamantium skeleton? I know they shot him with like an adamantium bullet, but the guy shot him in the farm with like a shotgun like 100 times and he just died. So I didn't know what to think of that. I thought that was a little, I was like, okay, I guess. I guess you can just kill him with a couple shotgun shells to the head, but I don't know. I mean, it's a movie, so go right ahead, do what you want. If you haven't gotten my overall impression so far, I absolutely love the movie. I've seen it twice so far. I wanted to post this a little bit later so everybody could, they could watch the whole thing through and not just watch the spoiler-free part, because I know when I'm watching these movie reviews and all that, I want to watch the whole thing through. I don't just want to watch just their spoiler-free. I want to watch their spoilers as well. I want to basically get into it with those people as well that are doing it. It's a great send-off for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. He's definitely not going to come back, I don't think, in these movies. I think this was definitely the last one, even if he wants to do a Deadpool 2. And Patrick Stewart as well. I think they're all done. I don't know what they're going to do with X-23 in the future. They may do some movies with her, which would be really interesting. No, the director wanted to do a couple movies with her, but other than that, this movie overall was spectacular. This definitely gets Webhead approved, guys. Definitely gets Webhead approved. But thank you guys very much for watching this review, this non-spoiler and then spoiler review. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Alrighty guys, if you would, you could subscribe right over here. Click this button and you can subscribe to my channel. You want to go down to the bottom right, there are all my social media tags. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what else? Google+, and my actual links to my social media is down in my description. Also, there are 2 videos below me that I think you guys would really enjoy. Thank you guys very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. Bye-bye.